Hello students. Last class we discussed the plant tissue. In today we will discuss about the animal tissue. First I will recall you what is tissue. A group of cells that are similar in structure and perform a different function is called as tissue. Is it right student? Now you come to the animal tissue. The term histology. What is histology? The science that deals with the study of tissue is called as histology. In animal tissue, based on its structure, location, and the function, so it can divide it into the four different types. They are epithelial tissue, muscular tissue, connective tissue, and nervous tissue. First we will discuss about the epithelial tissue. Epithelial tissue is the protective tissue and covering of the animal body. This tissue, the cells are tightly packed without any intercellular spaces. Here the cell is separated from the other tissue by means of the basement membrane. The continuous the continuous tissue is look like a sheet. We will see the function of the epithelial tissue. This epithelial tissue helps to recover from injury or any damages of the cell or any infection of the body. It also helps for absorption and also elimination. It absorbs the water and nutrients from the body and it eliminates the waste product from the body. Now, let us discuss about the types of epithelial tissue. Based on its shape, the epithelial tissue divided into 5 different types. Squamous epithelial tissue, cuboidal epithelial tissue, columnar epithelial tissue, ciliated epithelial tissue, and the last one is glandular epithelial tissue. The first we'll discuss about the squamous epithelial tissue. The squamous epithelial tissue is very thin, flat and closely packed. Based on its shape, it gets the names. What it is student? The squamous. Its shape is a square like, for example, if you see in your house the floor of the tiles, somewhat the floor of the house, it's made by the tiles. Is it right? So the tiles are nothing but square like structure. So based on its shape, it gets the name squamous epithelium tissue. What it is student? Squamous epithelium tissue. There are the two types of squamous epithelial tissue. The one is the simple squamous epithelial and the another one is the stratified squamous epithelial. In simple, it is made up of one layer. In stratified, it is made up of many layers. See, the simple means one layer like that the tiles fixed on the floor. It is a very thin layer. The stratified means the layer like, for example, the cakes. If you see the cake, it made up of many layers. So like that only stratified squamous epithelial tissue. Example for simple stratified tissue is the lining of our mouth. So example for stratified squamous epithelial tissue is our skin, because the skin needs protection from the outer environment, from the outer temperature, and as well as it gives the protection to the internal organs of the body also, so that it's made up of the many layer. So the stratified squamous epithelial tissue is made up of many layer. The simple squamous epithelial cells made up of a single layer. Even it should take lungs, it is also made up of single layer. The lining of the lungs is made up of the simple squamous epithelial tissue, because the lungs need to respire the oxygen and has to transport the blood. Once again, it recollects the carbon dioxide from the blood also. that it needs the space, so it is just layered in the lining of the larynx. Next we will see the second epithelial tissue, because it is a cuboidal epithelial tissue. See, the cuboidal, the shape is, yes, we considered the cuboidal shape. Yes, the cubical in shape. See, the nucleus is present in the center. Example for this cuboidal epithelial tissue is sweat gland, salivary glands, and the thyroid gland. See, in all these glands, this cuboidal epithelial tissue is present. Next, we will discuss about the columnar epithelial tissue. See, from the name, you can understand the shape of the tissue. Yes, it's a column-like. Very good. So, it is a pillar-like structure or a rectangular in shape. In columnar epithelial tissue, a nucleus is present in the basement membrane. Example for this columnar epithelial tissue is digestive tract, the stomach, the intestine lining. So, all present by the columnar epithelial tissue. Next, we will see the ciliated epithelial tissue. The ciliated epithelial tissue is not a new tissue, that is in the columnar and cuboidal epithelial tissue. It is lined on the surface of the tissue. So, it is lined by hair. These hair-like projections are called as a cilia. Cilia is nothing but by a hair-like projection. So, either in the columnar or in the cuboidal epithelial tissue, a surface, a cilia is present. That is called the ciliated epithelial tissue. This cilia helps for the movement. It also facilitates the movement. It is located in the respiratory tract in our body and the urinary bladder, as well as in the fallopian tube also. In the respiratory tract, it helps for the movement of the mucus. It pushes the mucus from the respiratory tract. Then in the fallopian tube, it pushes the egg from the ovary to the fallopian tube. The cilia only helping. You take in the urinary bladder, it helps for the movement of the urine. Yes, now we understand about the ciliated epithelial tissue. So next we move to the glandular epithelial tissue. See, it is present in the glands, has in the endocrine glands. See, in the endocrine gland, it secretes the hormone. It secretes one place. Even in our stomach, if you take gastric glands, so those gastric glands secrete the gastric juices. So all these chemicals are secreted and it is evolved out by this glandular epithelial tissue from the hormone, from the tissue, and then it is let out. Now all the 5 different types of epithelial tissue you understood clearly, students? Yes, I think then you understood satisfactorily. So next we will see the second tissue, muscular tissue. The muscular tissue are of 3 types: skeletal muscles, smooth muscles, and the cardiac muscles. First we will discuss about the skeletal muscles. By the skeletal muscles, some connect bone to bone. See, these musculars are connected with our skeletal. The whole body is framed by bones. The bones only give a structure to our body. See, in this bone are connected by these muscles. It helps for the movement of locomotion. So, these muscles will work under our control. Is it right? Yes. So, that it gets the name the voluntary muscles. In this muscle, the stripes are present like a dark and a light color band, so that it gets the name striated muscles also. This muscle is cylindrical in shape and multinucleated. That means the many nucleus is present in this muscle. See, this muscle is present in our legs and arms. For example, the biceps and triceps. Have you heard about this one? Yes, the biceps and triceps of our arm. Yes, this striated muscles we can observe. Next, we will see the smooth muscles. The smooth muscle is present in our internal organ. See, this muscle is cylindrical in shape. Here, the nucleus is present only one. The single nucleus we can observe, so that it is called as a uninucleate. But in the skeletal muscle, it is a multinucleate. In smooth muscles, the striations are absent. The dark or a light band, that kind of stripes are absent. That is, not any bonds are a dark or a light color band. So, it is a unstriated muscle. The example for smooth muscles are our internal organs like blood vessels, kidney. Like that, all the internal organs are based on the smooth muscles. Clear? Okay. Now, let us see the cardiac muscle. This cardiac muscle present in our heart. So, these muscles are voluntary or involuntary. The cardiac muscles working under our control? Yes, student? No. So, it works like a machine. It is not. The cardiac muscles are not work under our control. It is an involuntary muscle and it works by a rhythmic contraction and relaxation. Here, the nucleus is only one nucleus is present, so we call it a uninucleate. The cardiac muscles are branched, so each muscles are branched one another and uninucleate, and because of this contraction, the cardiac muscles only the blood supply all over body. So now let us see the nervous tissue. The nervous tissue, it comprises of nerve cell. Somewhat the neuron, the structural and the functional unit of the nervous tissue, we call it is a neuron. Do you know the longest nerve in our body has the nerve cell? Is the longest nerve in our body. The nerve cell consists of the three major parts. They are cytone, dendron and axon. At the end, the terminal branches. The cytone is the cell body of a neuron. Within the cytone, a single nucleate and cytoplasm is present. In this cytoplasm, the small branches are compresses out from the cytone. So it is called as a dendron. See, the dendrons are short fibers. So these dendrons receives the message from neighbor neuron and transmit to the cytone. The third major part of neuron is the axon. One of the branch in cytone is a long branch without any small branches. The longest fiber is a axon. See, in this axon, the message from the cytone is transmitted to the axon. At last, it reached to the terminal branch. The axon is covered by the myelin sheath. The terminal branch will transmit the message to the next neighboring nervous tissue. So, now you understand about the structure of the neuron. Next, we will see the last tissue, that is connective tissue. The connective tissue consists of collagen fiber, elastin fiber and fibroblast cell. So, this connective tissue are of four types. They are connective tissue proper, supportive connective tissue, dense connective tissue and fluid connective tissue. First we will see the connective tissue proper. The connective tissue proper are of two types. They are areolar connective tissue and the adipose connective tissue. Areolar connective tissue. The areolar connective tissue is a loosely packed tissue. They form a semi-fluid substance called it's a matrix. This matrix flow all the direction, leaving the small space called as areolae. Okay. So this is present in the skin as well as in internal organs of the body. Next we will discuss about the adipose tissue. See, what is adipose tissue? It is nothing but a fat. A fat tissue, the aggregation of fat cells or adipocytes. See, these fat cells are present in the deep layer of the skin. See, this act as a thermoinsulator. This adipose tissue is also act as an insulator. This helps us as a somewhat the shock absorber. It is present in the kidney and the many internal organs. See, this is a subcutaneous cells. Even you go in a heavy temperature, the sun ray will not affect our internal organs. What is the reason? Tell me, student. Yes, because of the adipose tissue. This adipose tissue giving protection to our body from the outer environment to the internal organs. So next we see the second connective tissue is the supportive connective tissue. Here the supportive connective tissue are also the two types, cartilage and bones. Cartilage, the cartilage is a soft bone, it is flexible. It is present in our nose strips. In the external ear, the ear pinna what we observe. So in this reason also we can observe the cartilage bone. And trachea. So the main part of the lung is the trachea. It is also made up of a cell somewhat the chondrocytes. See, these cells make a matrix in the blood. So next we will see the bone. The bone tissue, see, the bone is the very hard tissue. It is very strong and give support to our body. See, the bone cells are called as a osteocyte. In the bone cell consists of the calcium salts and collagen fibers. This makes the bones still more strong. See, these bones are very hard and give you the framework to our body and support to our body. The matrix called of the bones form the concentric rings. We call it is a lamella. Okay, the matrix of the bones form the concentric rings. We call it is a lamella. In the bone cells have a cavity. The cavity is called the bone marrow. From the bone marrow, the red blood cells are formed. So it's also one of the important things, student. We'll see the third connective tissue is the dense connective tissue, and another fourth one is a fluid connective tissue. So let us discuss about the dense connective tissue. There are two types of dense connective tissue. One is tendons and another one is ligaments. We will see about the tendons. Tendons are the cord-like structure. It is a very strong and the limited flexibility. So it connects the muscle to the bones. These tendons are the bundles of parallel rows. See, within this parallel rows, the matrix is present in a column-like structure. That is called as a fibroblast. Yes, what is fibroblast? Yes, it is a matrix present in a column-like structure of the this muscle. We call it a fibroblast. The ligaments, they are highly elastic in nature. They are very strong. Then the tendons. These ligaments join bone to bone. They are contain the very little matrix. Do you know the spring? What is spring? Many of them have experienced spring in our legs. I am talking about the springness. Okay, yes. This is caused due to the ligaments only. The excessive pulling of ligament the causes the sprain in our body. So we call it's a small spring. Next we will see the fluid connective tissue. There are two types of fluid connective tissue. One is blood and another one is a lymph. Blood is a major connective tissue in our body. It is present all over our body. It flows everywhere. It transports nutrients, hormones, water from one place to all over the body. Is it right, student? And it eliminates the waste material also from our body. So if you take blood, there are three different types of blood cells. It's red blood corpuscles, we call it RBC, and white blood corpuscles, we call it WBC, and the blood platelets. So the red blood corpuscles. The red blood corpuscles are biconcave, somewhat. They are disc shaped. In the young RBC cells, the nucleus is present. So when it becomes mature, it lost its nucleus. What is the reason? Yes, because of the presence of the hemoglobin in the RBC. Yes, hemoglobin is one of the protein content present in our RBC. Yes, hemoglobin is very important. It carries the oxygen to our body, so that the nucleus is replaced by the hemoglobin pigment. The lifespan of RBC cell are 120 days. Next we will see the second blood cell. It is a white blood corpuscle. The white blood corpuscles are the colorless. They are called as the defense cells because they produce the antibodies to fight against the foreign particles or a microbe. So it is irregular in shape and presence of nucleus in the WBC. It shows a amoeboid movement. In WBC, there are two types of cells. One is granulosides and another one is agranulocyte. Okay, sorry. Yes, one is a granulocyte and the another one is a agranulocyte. In agranulocyte, the cytoplasmic granules are present. They are of three types: neutrophils, basophils, and eosinophiles. In agranulocytes, a cytoplasmic granules are absent. So they are of two types. They are lymphocytes and monocytes. Now, so far we are discussed about the blood cells. Next, the last one is platelets. What is blood platelets? The blood plates plays an important role in blood clotting. So, this is also important our body. At last, we will see that the last connective tissue, it's a lymph. The lymph is also a colorless fluid. Okay, it is present without the blood cells. It takes the nutrient from the blood cells to the capillary. See that white blood cells and plasma together form the lymph. A lymph is a colorless liquid. It is filtered out of the capillaries. The lymph consists of WBC and plasma, so that only it is a colorless fluid. So, this lymph helps for exchange of material between blood and the tissue. From this, we will finish at the animal tissue and the whole chapter, the tissue. Okay, thank you, student. So, this is about your tissue lesson.